The next session will be on Industrial AI, Data Fabric, and Metaverse, Part 1. So we have 3 speakers, 3 sessions. Each speaker will have 20 minutes duration. And the first speaker is from Siemens. Industrial Copilot, Generative AI, Powered Manufacturing Value Chain Optimization by Vikas Manoria, Head Regional Product Management, and Sabarinath Swaminathan, Regional Product Manager, Siemens Limited. And next will be from Red Hat and ABB, a joint presentation on breaking down the barriers of OT and IT, the ABB and Red Hat story. Dr. Arnav Buzin, Director Enterprise Sales for Manufacturing, Retail, and Transport, Red Hat Asia Pacific, and Vikas Manoria, Global Product Line Manager, ABB Ability, Genius. And the third one will be from OPC Foundation by Mr. Samrat Bhattacharjee, Head of Research, Sustainable Automation Research, Siemens India OPC, and he'll be talking on building industrial interoperability standard in cloud, AI, data spaces, and more. So I would request Mr. Vikas Manoria and Sabarinath to come on the stage.
So good morning once again. I'm Vikas and I look after factory automation, regional product management job in Siemens. This happens to be my third presentation in as many years over here. And as Mr. Ganpati Raman pointed out, now it is working. I first presented around 2 years back, just after the Corona break. And the topic I chose to present was AI at industrial edge. That is when the AI thing has just started propagating a lot in the market. We have been hearing a lot about what all AI can do. So we decided to choose this topic to give a brief background as to what AI is doing and what it can do in the industry. And we also covered a brief on industrial edge as to how industrial edge could be an excellent platform to host your AI applications and AI algorithms. Next, we took it one step further in 2024. I introduced the concept of automated to adaptive manufacturing. We introduced something known as Industrial Operations X, which is a portfolio which helps the industry to move from the traditional automated engineering to a more adaptive one. As Ms. Eva Jain also pointed out that things are moving towards metaverse. So when we go towards metaverse or the autonomous factories and all, the factories have to first get into the adaptive manufacturing zone, and that is where this entire portfolio of Industrial Operations X helps. A lot of portfolio on Industrial Operation X works on AI. And that is what we decided this time, that let us take a little more focused approach and cover a very hot topic nowadays, which is known as GenAI, and how GenAI powered copilots are really helping the industry to become more and more effective and productive. Before we move on to copilots and the GenAI powered manufacturing, one term just I wanted to clarify. For those who don't know, we have been using a term industrial AI again and again. Right? There is an AI, which I think almost all of us are using in a big way. And then there is industrial AI. Just to give a little bit of a brief clarification, industrial AI is a little bit more different from AI in the terms that it is more focused, it is more safe, it is more reliable, it is more explainable. A lot of stuff that you can do with the open AI platforms or open AI that is available in the market, it is not possible or it is not acceptable or advisable to be used in industries. And that is the reason this term of industrial AI comes into picture. And that is what I have seen in the entire forum. I saw it in the stalls outside also, that specifically the industry players are using this term industrial AI. So just wanted to clarify this thing. Now we move on to our main topic regarding the copilots. So my question to the audience over here, how many of you are using copilots in your day-to-day work? Nice. And think Microsoft and almost all the tools that we are using nowadays have come up with a lot of Copilot features. Copilot is nothing but basically it is like a smart assistant to you. It helps you do your job better, faster, and safer. It works 24 hours, of course. And that is how the Copilots are becoming very, very powerful and in our day-to-day applications. Practically, at least I am seeing in my workplace, most of the emails, most of the LinkedIn posts nowadays are being written using the Copilots and ChatGPT kind of softwares. How many of you are using industrial Copilot in your industrial manufacturing workplaces? Not many. It's okay because the products have not been, released as such for general sales right now. But this is something which is catching up. We saw something over the last 8 to 10 months, which really inspired us to have this session over here because it has really a potential to change almost everything that we have been doing up till now. The way we have been programming, the way we have been operating our plants, the way we are planning, the way we are designing, the way we are maintaining, almost everything is going to become much more efficient and systematic. So in industrial settings, a Copilot can be used to support the engineers, operators, and technicians for a number of applications, right from the plant design, to the product design, to troubleshooting, to reporting, to adherence to the standards, to predictive analysis. You name it, it can be programmed, it can be done that way in Industrial Copilot. I just took it up I also used Copilot actually to get a nice catchy phrase. Industrial Copilot is turning, I have no idea what's going on, into I've got this, one algorithm at a time. What we have from Siemens is Copilots across the entire value chain of your manufacturing plant. And this is practically my kind of a second last slide. It's very rare that you find a presentation from Siemens with very less slides because what we wanted to show you was not only the slide deck, but we wanted to show you a live demo as to how these Copilots are going to change. So immediately after this, we will have a small demo as to how the Copilots are working out. So as I mentioned, we have Copilots across the entire value chain. We have the Copilots at the design stage of your plant. We have Copilots for even BFDs, the plant layout, the interconnections. We have Copilots for team centers for the planning purposes, right? We have Copilot for engineering. That is even when you start your programming or maybe when you are trying to develop your SCADA screen. We have Copilots for them so that it makes your job much more easier. Then we have Copilots for simulations like Technomatics, a very famous software being used in the industry. Team Center, the lady from Renault also mentioned. So all these are now coming with Copilots. Then we have Copilots for maintenance. We have a platform known as Sensei. Maybe I'll cover it in the last, if the time permits. But we have Copilots for Sensei, so it will help you in maintenance of your plants. So this is how the entire value chain, right from design, planning, engineering, operation services is covered through the Copilots. Now let us see how these Copilots are going to help you due to the paucity of time. What we are going to cover is the Copilot for engineering and Copilot for operations in this presentation. So may I invite Sabarinath, who is an expert from our side, to give a demo, live demo.
Sorry, I used to the collar mic. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Yeah. So after hearing everyone's speech, I'm seriously thinking, is my job is at stake? So luckily that I learned AI just in time. Yeah. So Vikas talked about the Copilot across a value chain, right? So specifically, I'll be focusing on the engineering Copilot and the operation Copilot. Before going to that, let me start with my personal story. So I started my career as a PLC programmer. So I used to visit multiple clients to understand the requirement. And I used to write a program line by line. Sometimes it takes a week and even a month, depends upon the application complexity. Back then, I used to think, what if I had a system which can able to understand my requirement and help me in writing the code, right? That idea is real now. Why? Because Industrial Engineering Copilot is making my dream today. It's a generative AI powered tool, as mentioned by Vikas. It helps automation engineer to write a PLC code just by giving a requirement. Let me show you a live demo on this. So what you are seeing here, this is an engineering copilot. I can ask a copilot, the clipboard, to create a PLC program for my bottle filling applications. And I also given some predefined conditions. It has to sense the bottle and it has to fill a particular preset volume. What it will do, it understands the complete requirement, which used to take a hour, a week, a month before. I did it in a minute. So this is what at the productivity we are talking about. So Eva James from Renault talked about a car from 18 to 24 months, right? If you want to achieve that level of productivity, you have to achieve productivity efficiency at each and every level. And especially the automation which drives the manufacturing is going to play a very vital role. And if you can able to create a program in a minute, you can able to do a machine testing in an hour or later, right? So back to my story, it's not only I always create a program. Sometimes I have to understand other programs also. It is like reading a Sanskrit which is written in your manuscript or in the stone. Even I can't able to understand what the code I have written a week back. If I ask me to read other code, it is very difficult for me. So here the Copilot comes handy. It's not only create a code from scratch, it can also able to explain this code from an existing system. So what I asked the engineering Copilot right now, explain this code, whatever you have given, in our own engineering language. It is like you are talking to your colleague in a natural language, right? It understands the code and it explains a line by line of what it exactly meant to be. On top of it, engineer can able to add an existing logic just by giving a prompt. So here, what you are doing, using a Copilot to understand it, and again using a Copilot to modify your logic. Here you can able to see it just explain the complete terms. Maybe it is a little bit blurry. It's explaining the code in the Kannada. So it can be any regional language. Right? Pretty amazing, right? That's why I mentioned I learned AI just in time. Even I myself feared about the technology what Siemens is creating. Right? Not only that, the challenge 3, what I used to face as an automation engineer, not only the PLC program, I sometimes have to make the configurations. For example, cybersecurity, all NTPC and Renault was missing. Cybersecurity plays a major role. Then the cybersecurity starts at the automation level. And it is not a programmable, it's just like a configuration. To understand each product and configuring the cybersecurity is a very headache for an automation engineer, right? He is not used to the term. And he has to go through a tons of manual. And you have to understand each product settings. What if you had a system which can able to give precisely what you have to do in terms of product setting? So I just pre-prompted it because it takes some time to give the answer. So here you can able to see Industrial Engineering Copilot has access to the complete documentation of the Siemens product. And you can ask a particular product how to configure it. It goes through a tons of manuals and give a precise steps to configure it. And also, Vikas mentioned that it has to be informed decision. It should not be hallucinating, right? So if it is hallucinate, then there is no point of using a Copilot in your operations or in your engineering. So that's what we say, it's an informed decision, and we also give the reference where it is taking from the data. So engineering Copilot is revolutionizing the way we work, and it is definitely going to be the next game changer. If you still didn't learn AI, I urge you to learn it. Okay. Next, let's move on to another interesting topic. So far, what we have seen is about the engineering copilot, which helps the development team. What if you had a system you can able to talk to the machine and tells there is a problem in mission, these are the steps you have to solve it. What if you had a system give a real-time insight just by asking it? It would be very fantastic, right? It's just like you are talking to a human and you are talking to the machine in your own natural language. Let me show you another demo, which is we called as Operation Copilot. I just put a notepad so that no one close my instance, so don't worry about it. So what you are seeing is a simulated mission of a pharma pack. And right-hand side it's a digital twin, and left-hand side it's a Operation Copilot. It is connected to the mission directly. It has access to the live data of the mission and also the documentation. What I can able to do is, I can ask Copilot, what is the status of the mission? It's a little bit blurry, it seems. Now, what Copilot does is, it tries to access the live data from the mission and it exactly tells you what is the current status. So it is like we are bringing a generative AI capability to the shop floor, which is not an easy job, right? And to industry, you have to be very precise and reliable when you are answering. You should not be hallucinating something. And also, this Operation Copilot not only helps in understanding the live data, it is very good at providing the real-time insights. For example, I can ask, what is the good and bad parts produced so far? Now what it will do, it will go to the mission and it do all the activities and just give the answers in a human language. Whereas you have to pre-configure everything in a HMI. So here, it has given that so far it has produced 20,000 and so far it has 7,000 quantities has been produced of bad products. Another cool feature is not only the live data, it can also work with a predictable data. As a production engineer, you always have to plan what is the product you have to going to produce for next 1 hour or next 1 week or next 1 year. I can ask Copilot how many you can produce next 1 hour. It is not pre-configured. I'm just using the live data. How many quantities are producing right now? Using the same data, it is going to calculate how many data it is going to produce for next 1 hour. Isn't this cool, right? Everything it is doing just by asking. Here I'm just using a prompt because I cannot able to connect to the microphone. If you can able to microphone, it has a capability to listen you also. It's just like you go to the mission and this Operation Copilot runs in your HMI and you connect to the headphone. Hey mission, how are you? Can you provide me the insights? Like the mission is not running right now, right? For example, right now the mission is not running. I can ask, what is the current alarm? If there is an alarm, it will tell you, or else not. It will give the current alarm. Not only that, it gives you steps to resolve it, which is very much needed in the shop floor. If you imagine finding a good automation engineer or maintenance engineer nowadays, it's a very difficult, right? And training them and keeping them in company is also very difficult. What if you can able to freeze the knowledge somewhere and a fresh engineer comes in and he can able to fix an issue the next day he is coming to the job. You can see the current alarm message is not available because alarm is not there, I think. So if there is an alarm, it will provide you the alarm status and also steps to resolve it. So this is what an engineering and operation Copilot. This, because of time constraint, we have limited to this. But we have also Copilot, which is empowering the entire value chain, as mentioned by Vikas. So this is going to be a real game changer. And thank you everyone for your time and patience. Let me hand over to Vikas again.
Thank you, Sabri. Thank you very much. think that is a very clear indication of the things to come and where our expertise will be required and what will be taken care by the GenAI and AI itself. Just one more thing that I wanted to cover before we move on to the next presenter. It is regarding a lot of been discussed. A lot have been discussed about agentic AI agents and all. So just wanted to clarify or rather mention it over here that ultimately it is the agents, AI agents, which form the heart of the system, right? So, and this is not possible only with one company alone. It is not that Siemens is going to have the entire know-how about everything that is there in the industry, because there will be a lot of integration, there is a lot of transparency, there is a lot of data created by so many companies, so many people in the organization, so many organizations put together, and that is where the entire ecosystem will have to come into place. Last time also when I was presenting, I was talking about an ecosystem that is most important in today's scenario. And here, there is another kind of an ecosystem. We are talking about an ecosystem comprising of AI agent developers, right? There are a lot of AI agents that you can see on the screen which are developed by Siemens in-house. But then we are also talking about AI agents which are developed by other, for example, E-planes. Siemens has just tied up with E-plan, wherein any changes, wherein their E-plan AI agent is now compatible with our Copilot. So any changes being done in the PLCs, in the PLC configuration can automatically reflect into the E-plan related diagrams. In fact, any of you who would have visited Hanover last year, this was displayed in Hanover around 3-4 months back in April. And just on a side note, the Copilot as a whole won the very prestigious Hermes Award also this year at Hanover. So this is about Copilot. One last thing, as I mentioned, in the entire flow, the last portion is the maintenance. Once you have the entire plant ready, the most important job becomes of the operation and the maintenance guys. So our very famous Sensei predictive maintenance system is also now integrated, comes with an integrated Copilot. And I was just reading some mails day before yesterday. We bagged the first project in India using Sensei and the Sensei Copilot. Around 2-3 days back only we closed the deal. So yeah, that is all from my side. Thank you very much. We are just bang on time, 8 seconds remaining. Thank you.
Thanks, Vikas and Sabari. It was a great demo from Siemens.